this evening's meeting to order. This is a regular city council meeting of Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. And I have a roll call, please.
Councilman Bendis.
Here.
Councilman Carter.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey.
Here.
Mayor Gillis.
Here.
Councilwoman Harris.
Here.
Councilwoman Meldrum.
Here.
Councilman Scarlett.
Here.
Can I get a moment of silent prayer? Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
Okay, we have one presentation tonight. We have a presentation by Hubble Rock and Clark on sanitary smoke testing. As part of phase 1 of the sanitary sewer investigation, the city engineer will be investing all potential resources of excess water flow using historic influent data review, smoke testing, and the purchase and installation of meters and rain gauges. A 2021 meter study performed as part of the city's stormwater assets management and grant indicated excess infiltration of water into the sanitary sewer system. The city has started to address the issue and has since rehabilitated approximately 3,600 linear feet of sanitary sewer, and will continue with a long-term plan to line and grout leaky sewers in high infiltration areas. The excessive flow is a concern as the city pays a significant amount of annual excess flow fees, thereby nearly doubling our annual sewage costs. Hubble Rock Clark.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Morielli with Hubble Rock and Clark, and thank you for letting me present on the sanitary sewer evaluation survey. You pretty much summarized the whole presentation. I don't even have to. So yeah, I want to give you guys a little bit of background. From 2020 to 2023, you had your SAW grant. There was numerous studies underneath the SAW grant, one of which was the 2021 meter study. So meters were put inside the sanitary sewer, and we monitored the flows and determined that 35% of the system is contributing excessive infiltration and 62% is contributing excessive inflow. We're gonna talk about infiltration inflow. As part of the SAW study, your manholes were investigated and so were your sewers. 95% of all the manholes were inspected and 85% of the sewers was deemed televised. And it was determined that the majority of the sewer deficiencies were located in the excessive infiltration areas. Those are those gray areas there. I know the map's hard to see, but all the line work, the various line work you see, those are noted deficiencies. So in a proactive manner, the city moved forward in 2024 with some sewer improvements and did line 3,600 linear feet. And that represents about 8% of your system. So we're gonna talk about the difference between infiltration and inflow. There are many different sources of infiltration and inflow. So on the infiltration side, you can have things like a broken lateral, root intrusion into the main or the lateral, a faulty lateral connection, a cracked or broken pipe, or a deteriorated manhole. On the inflow side, you can have things like a roof or downspout connection, a footing drain or sump pump connection, an uncapped cleanout, a storm cross connection, or a faulty manhole cover or frame. And these items, they're exacerbated if your system can be subjected to flooding. So when you get water that ponds over top of cracks and deficiencies, you're gonna get more, rainwater that's going to get inside your sewer system. So this graph shows you a typical, what we see when we meter sewers. So the pink line is what we would call a dry weather flow pattern. And there's no rain, it repeats every day, and the black line is what you would see during a rain event typically. So when you have a residential area, it is in an ideal setting where you have no infiltration and your system's watertight. The distance from this minimum nighttime flow, this low point here, this should be close to zero. If you had like a perfectly sealed system. But when you don't, that distance between there and zero, that is pure infiltration. So this is showing you 1 week. You take this out for 365 days, that's a lot of volume that you're sending to treat, like wastewater, to the treatment plant. So it's important to get that out. But a lot of times when you have wet weather flow problems, the part that causes the most issue is the peak flow. So when it's raining, if this pipe had a capacity of 24, I don't even have units here, 24 units, and the flow came in at close to 34 or 35 units, you've reached the capacity of the pipe, and you could be causing basement flooding at that point. So the peak flow, this inflow component may not be as much volume as the infiltration, but it also is very important to get out, especially during rain events. You don't want to cause basement flooding. And now the infiltration, if you can get that down, that will also bring down that peak flow. So they do work together. So if we look at, this is actual data from Area C, and you can see that, that sort of highlighted bottom part, that's all the dry weather infiltration, where your base flow doesn't go to zero. And it's a significant amount, you wanna get that out, but you can also see all of these spikes here, every time it rains, and they're really flashy. So this kinda says to me, maybe we've got something that is illicit connected, that is, a low-hanging fruit, like possibly there's a stormwater connection by accident, or there's downspouts that are connected, or there's something that when it rains, your flow peaks up really quick, and then it comes back down. So in terms of like how it impacts the community, you've got, one of your latest wastewater charges was about $420,000 annually. And you're paying for that for like what's in the pink bar. But you have this excess flow fee that is nearly double, or the same amount as your regular flow, and it's because of these peak flows. So a $300,000 excess flow fee annually, and that adds up. So smoke testing is a very good way to find those peaks, and it will also find a lot of the infiltration parts. So when we do manhole inspections and sewer televising, the items highlighted in yellow, you can find those items. But when you smoke test during dry ground conditions, you can find all the items if it's really dry. So this is an example. We had a big program in Sheboygan, and so this is showing smoke coming out of an open cleanup. So with smoke testing, what they do is they'll open up a manhole cover. They put, it almost looks like a lawnmower motor, kind of like on top of the manhole, and they'll put a smoke handle or something that will create smoke, and that blower is gonna push the smoke down into the sewer. And it's gonna push it, and it'll come out anywhere there are cracks, anywhere there's a connection to that sanitary sewer. So this is showing a clean out that either the cap was broken or completely missing. So you can see if this was in a low-lying area where water could pond over, that's just rainwater going right into your sanitary sewer. This is showing a smoking downspout. And roofs generate a lot of runoff. You know, it's 100% that water hits the roof, it gets to your eaves troughs, and then it goes to your downspout, and you wouldn't want them connected to your sanitary system. And those are easy things to, when you find it, it's like, it's a really good way to get a lot of flow out of the sanitary system. This shows a frame seal of a manhole that, you know, by visual observation, when you're inspecting it, you may not know it doesn't have a watertight seal. But when you put the smoke in the sewer, you'll see that it doesn't have a watertight seal. And again, if this was in a low-lying area, then you're getting a lot of water that can get inside the sanitary system. And this is, I like this picture. So, you know, this is why I say if the ground is dry enough, what this is showing is this home's lateral, okay? There's a crack in the pipe, the smoke went, you know, through the crack, through the ground was dry enough, and it came up through a crack in the concrete driveway. So, you can see a lot, when you do these smoke tests. So by now, everyone should have received this mailer. It was two-sided, and the biggest important thing about it was that everyone must pour water down seldom used drains prior to the testing. So your traps, you know, they're there so that it has water in it. Its primary purpose is to keep the sewer gases from, you know, coming back inside the house. And to catch jewelry from time to time, but mostly, you know, it's to keep the sewer gases out. So if you have, I don't know, something in the basement or a sanitary fixture that you don't use that often, you wanna put water down it, okay? So that that trap has water in it. Because if it doesn't, when we smoke test, the smoke's gonna come inside the house. And this is why there's an extensive notification process here. Everyone got a mailer, and then 24 hours to 48 hours prior to us actually smoke testing the area, everyone's gonna get a door hanger, a bright yellow door hanger. It basically says the same thing. We're gonna be coordinating with, the fire department, and they'll handle police coordination. So everyone's gonna be well notified, when we're smoke testing. Okay, so when we look at this overall schedule of events here, we had the manual inspections and the cleaning of the sewers. We got the SAW report in 2023, started some construction improvements in 2024, and now we're doing this SSES. This is like a phase 1. And then the phase 2 is gonna depend on our results from the smoke testing. So, depending on what we find, we may need to also do downspout inspections, review historical plans, especially for some of your areas were combined sewers at one point. This is where stormwater and sanitary were purposely in the same pipe, and then you go through a whole separation project, and that's where you can sometimes accidentally leave a stormwater catch basin connected to the combined, which is now the sanitary. The old combined becomes the sanitary. So also you would have had overflows that went out to the lake. So we would look at that to see if we don't find the smoking gun, pardon the pun, but under the smoke testing, if we don't find like these big significant sources, then we'll be going through and doing a deep dive on historical plans and additional field investigations, especially where there are any old outfalls. So the SSCS Phase 1 project does have 2 other tasks, and one is to review the historical data, influent data. So all the sewage in the city goes towards the wastewater treatment plant, and right now, that treatment plant can provide only weekly influent volume, and we can get daily rainfall totals. So we're gonna review from 2021 through current date and look for any trends that are like in the data that we can see, especially can we see, some noticeable improvement with the improvements that were done, from lining the sewers. But it's important to note that this data is weekly influent volume and daily rainfall totals. In order to do a proper, review of your relationship to rain, you really need hourly. So this is why the city will be purchasing and installing a meter and a rain gauge. So once we have that, we can get hourly influent flow rate and 5-minute rainfall data and do a meaningful infiltration inflow response review. So these tasks make up the phase 1 proposal that you guys approved. I think it was the 15th, like in July, you guys approved it. And so the budget's there and also the schedule. And the last little note we wanna make about the smoke testing is that we'll be starting the plan right now, assuming the weather and everything is perfect. 'Cause we can't smoke test when it's raining, that's the one you want dry. So, right now we're aiming to start August 11th, and we anticipate we should be done by the end of August. The notifications that did go out did say August and September, but we gave ourselves that buffer just in case, we run into weather issues. So, that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Are we going to be first focusing on those critical areas that were found in Sauerkraut?
For the smoke testing, you're doing it citywide,
Citywide, but,
because
and all at the same time, or are we just, we're gonna do this section first, and then we're gonna do this section?
they started, the guys that are laying it out, they started at the south end and they're gonna
Okay.
work up.
Okay.
But within 2 weeks or 3 weeks max, we should have the whole city done.
Okay.
We could have piecemealed it out and like, oh, let's just do the high priority area this year and then maybe later do, but the notification effort and the mobilization is so much effort, like it's so much work. The smoke testing doesn't take that long.
Mhm.
Like when they do an individual test, it's, like 15 minutes. And you've got people looking up the street and they're watching to see, where smoke is coming out, taking a picture, documenting it. So the fact that we're mobilizing and getting it done, it's just like, you'll be done, you'll know the condition of your sewer throughout and not have to try to piecemeal tests over years,
Cause I know this is an excellent tool to get a clue.
Oh, yes.
Where and what and who and how. So I've been looking forward to starting the smoke testing for a bit now.
So when exactly is the smoke testing gonna take place?
So August 11th, assuming there's no rain, was gonna start, that's Monday, August 11th, and we should be done by the 29th, which is a Friday.
And when do you think we'll have results?
We should know, so if we go back up here. So we should know, we'll do the data analysis and reporting like September, October, November. And like the timing is really good because between knowing your historical influent data review and having all this information, we'll be able to lay out a proper plan for your next fiscal year. So that phase 2 study, we'll work with Denise and, the DPW and determine, meet together like in February for sure, to hash out like what you need to plan for your next fiscal year.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Now, the smoke that you mentioned, the smoke testing, if residents don't pull water in unused drains and it gets into the home, is that smoke harmful?
No, it's non-toxic, it doesn't cause any problems. You'd wanna, if you can get smoke in the house, you'd wanna open up your windows and air it out. So and it does, the flyer that we sent out does explain that, if you do get smoke, what to do, I believe it says it in here.
Yeah, I think I saw it.
Yeah. So, the one thing I didn't mention, but it is in the flyers, for the commercial buildings, we'll be using a drone during the smoke test, so they have to hover up to see where the smoke is coming out. The main thing when we do these, especially for residential, is we're looking at the vent stack, so that should smoke. So when the vent stack doesn't smoke, then we document it, we let everyone know, because it could mean that there's either a problem in the lateral, like it's clogged or broken or something, or there's a problem in the mainline sewer that's preventing the smoke to get through. So, but on commercial buildings, it's some, especially if it has like a parapet, or, you know, a cover on the, you can't tell when smoke is, like, what's coming out. Is it the vent stack, or is it the eaves troughs, the building's equivalent of an eaves trough?
And you mentioned the historical, records. Do you feel that, talking with our, water plant superintendent, that there's enough historical information if this goes and you don't get the results that you're looking for through the smoke testing?
I think I heard that there are historical documents or plans, you know, that might be missing. We'll do the best we can with what we have. The main thing we'd be looking at when we're looking through that is like, okay, what was the original combined system and what was the separation plans? Because that can get very messy, like it's really hard to, normally the combined, like I say, they convert that to the sanitary and they'll build new storm. So that was, I don't know yet if we have those documents or not, but whatever we do have, that's what we'll look at and go from there.
Was some of that recognized and determined during the SOG grant? Is say if, you know, poof, we can't get any more historical data, did any of that show up in the SOG grant that could be helpful with this?
I'm like 98% sure that through the SAW grant, the plans that you have, we scan them and put them in a hyperlinked file,
Got it.
like in GIS.
Okay.
So we can go through and click anywhere in the city, and any plan that touched, you know, that part, we'll see it listed.
Okay.
So we do have them, we just have to go through them and understand what's in them.
And I have one more thing, if you could come up too, please, sir. Cause, I mean, come on, I don't
Yeah.
see you that often.
I hear you.
Just curious, how's it going these days with the state revolving fund?
Well, so.
Are they a lot tighter than they
Yeah,
were the
so-
last time we had this discussion?
Yeah, so the state revolving fund is really predicated on two things. One is being or an overburdened community, which you're not, that I'm aware of. So you've done a good job of being fiscally responsible, that you're not underwater like a Pontiac or a Flint. And then two, you'd have to have a recognized water quality issue, which you also don't have. So those are still low hanging fruit, so those are still getting all the money to communities that are disadvantaged and those that have, water quality issues, and unfortunately, you don't have.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the clean water, state revolving fund.
It's the same for both.
Okay, so, yeah, I hadn't checked in a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
cause like I said,
But
we
there
had
is
this
some-
conversation last
Yeah.
time you were
There
here.
is some discussion that they might be changing some of the scoring guidelines in the future.
I did hear something
We
about that.
don't know what those will change to, but, that's obviously something to keep a pulse on.
If you would.
Yeah, and then, just talking funding in general, if people have been paying attention to what's going on in Lansing, they're trying to get infrastructure funding bill together. I believe the Senate and the governor are both in support of their $3.3 billion, fund infrastructure, and I think it's the House that is holding that up. That has a lot of, at least in the language, there's a lot of, language that speaks to giving funds, kind of skipping the state highway network and spending a lot of those funds to local municipalities, local cities and villages. So if you have any contacts with your state reps or your House representative delegates, to reach out to them and to as a community, say that we support, additional state funded infrastructure, like especially this bill that's being talked about, so.
I've been amazed at just over the last, say, 6 months, the municipalities, Marina City would be one, and they've had a lot of work that they've had going on over there, and they're still talking now about having to take out a loan on
Yeah.
top of the money that they got from this grant or that grant and another loan, I think they took
Yeah.
out.
And I do have a list that we had created that I can hand out maybe afterwards. That,
Okay.
is at least in the recent history, the grants that Algonac has received, has applied for and received, and it's almost $4 million, so you've done and maybe you don't realize it in
Yeah,
aggregate how
but
much you have.
You know
gotten
how
over the
I
years.
am,
Yeah.
and we, like I said, we've done this before.
So I couldn't let you leave without asking.
Well, yeah, I'm planning to stay around and talk with you anyway.
See, yeah, see, it's all fun. Thank you, though, like I said, we just had to do, some working on the rates here.
Mhm.
And like I said, you and I talked before, and it's difficult for me to ask for these and not have something in our hand to show them.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking for any kind of updates or cause I looked a little bit on how the revolving fund loans are going right now, and I know that everything is tight.
Right, and don't forget those state revolving funds, just to apply for it, it's a $20,000 to $40,000 effort, because they require you to jump a lot of hoops, cut through a lot of red tape, and to spend that amount of money on we know that we probably won't get funded.
And I remember we discussed that, and
Yeah.
I also know that Marysville spent, what, 30 grand to get 3 million?
Yeah.
You know, and at some point.
No, yeah, I mean, that's
It's gotta
that's a
be the
good trade
cost
for
of
sure,
doing
yeah.
business
But you wanna
at some point.
take the correct time to
Right.
spend that $30,000 to $40,000.
Exactly.
You have a good chance of actually getting.
Yeah, and they had more money to hand, well, I shouldn't say hand, but more money out there available
I
than I
would say
believe
you're
they
talking
do
about
now.
Marysville. Did you say Marysville?
Yes.
Oh, I work on that, so.
Did you, I thought you looked familiar, cause I remember watching a meeting for
Oh,
Marysville
okay.
where you guys had given the presentation for the state revolving fund.
Well, the benefit from Marysville was, the reason why a lot of communities are going for CWSRF and DWSRF is with the fire department was, all those grants, they were funneled through those programs. So it caused this influx of people just applying for projects. But for Marysville, that was the year before. And for that program, the state had, 800 million was available for funding, but there was only 600 million in applications. So everybody who did a project plan that year got one. So that's why Marysville got it. If they were 1 year later, because they've been trying to get us a DWSRF to do some water stuff, and
Yes.
they can't get it. So, I think, you just have to watch when, I guess, like, if the grant money dries up, then the loans might be easier to book.
Cause like I said, I was gonna let you go without going.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any more questions on this, on smoke testing? No, I think we're good. Anything for HRC?
Thank you, big job, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. All right, we'll move on to public comment. Public comment is for, you have 5 minutes to speak before the council. This will be the only time to speak before the council this evening, so please state your name.
Thank you, and good evening. I'm Dr. Remington Nevin, 1970 River Road up in St. Clair Township. I'm medical director of the St. Clair County Health Department, and I'm here as a courtesy to update you on some recent developments in the science and regulatory landscape pertaining to water fluoridation. This is, as you know, a subject of increasing public interest. Last August, the National Toxicology Program concluded with at least moderate probability that fluoride at approximately double the recommended concentrations is associated with a risk of neurodevelopmental adverse effects. And on reviewing that evidence and other evidence, in September of last year, a federal district court ordered the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to regulate fluoride at its current recommended concentrations in drinking water under the Toxic Substances Control Act. And although EPA is appealing this ruling, largely on procedural grounds. It does appear that EPA is not significantly calling into question the science on which this ruling was based. The evidence is increasingly clear that total fluoride concentrations likely to be encountered through both treated municipal water and ingested topical fluoride-containing products does in fact carry an unacceptable risk of neurotoxicity and cognitive impairment, particularly during development. And so accordingly, I believe it is only a matter of time before EPA does act, possibly to lower maximum acceptable fluoride concentrations in water, but likely, in my opinion, to prohibit the addition of fluoride altogether, again, in due course. In anticipation of precisely this action, Florida and Utah have recently prohibited the addition of fluoride to municipal water, and over a dozen other states, though not Michigan, are considering such action as well. And across the nation, many individual municipalities are doing the same, including here in Michigan. And contrary to what you may have been advised previously, municipalities in Michigan do have complete discretion in this regard. Past ordinances in support of fluoridation, adopted decades ago, even by popular vote, should not be considered binding in light of this new evidence of neurotoxicity. And to my knowledge, neither Michigan law nor regulation restrict a municipality's executive or legislative authority to act to remove this threat. And in my opinion, it would be well advised for municipalities to at least consider doing this, as this would be supported by evidence, it would be consistent with the precautionary principle, and it would demonstrate a proactive concern for the health of the municipality's residents. Now, in my advisory role as county medical director, I have recommended that the health department adopt regulations to formalize such a prohibition across the entire county. This is a recommendation only, and action would require a formal endorsement by both the health officer and by the county board. But I do believe this is the right thing to do. Our advisory board of health meets the third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. in the Don Dodge Auditorium in the county building. And I would encourage residents or officials with interest to share their comments on this topic at a future meeting of the board. The department will also likely be organizing a more formal outreach effort with information and to discuss this more formally in the coming weeks. In the interim, I can be reached through the health department, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, I'm Dr. Nevins, St. Clair County Health Department. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sandra Simmons. I don't know if you're aware of that our former House Speaker, Lee Chatfield, and his wife, there are 15 felony charges in regards to racketeering, embezzlement. Are our public officials, actually public officials, are wanting to take advantage of their positions? The state of Michigan is in a flux. Our own Secretary of State has been subpoenaed and not handing over that information. Are you truly above the law if you have a position? No one should be above the law. In regards to today at the clarity hearing, we all spoke. Us women, Ms. Dawn Davy, myself, and Ms. Gertensberg, we had a little more to say. Most women do over men. We always have something to say. But needless to say, I did receive one vote in regards to the recall from Mr. Gillis and Ms. Dawn Davy. And after the meeting, or I shouldn't say meeting, the hearing, I had quite a long conversation, of course, with the St. Clair County prosecutor. And I prefer not to be any longer transparent. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Bob Scruggs. I live at 735 Townsend Drive. I'm here to talk about the Airbnb influx into our city. Speaking to Mr. Jones earlier in the meeting, or before the meeting, I understand that we're moving in the right direction. I brought this subject up to the city manager 2 years ago. We need to be more proactive. We need to do better. I think we're heading in the right direction. And as I see my neighborhood turning into a business district instead of a residential district, it's very concerning. We call the police when there's disturbance. They don't hear it, so they can't do anything about it. So we need to have some restrictions. There are several communities, including Dearborn, that have banned Airbnbs in residential areas. I don't know if that's the case gonna be here, but I think it should be considered. One last thing, golf carts. Golf carts are called golf carts because they're on the golf course. Algonac doesn't have any golf courses. The least we can do is register them. Put a number on them. So when there is a problem, we can inform the city, the council members, or the police department that there is an issue. This is something we need to be more proactive with, not reactive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Eileen Tesh. I sent this article to, the mayor and the, city manager, regarding the city of Troy and violating the First Amendment as far as city council commentary rules. The city of Troy is violating the First Amendment with its restrictive policies it has in place for commentary during city council meetings, according to a free speech watchdog group. Troy's commentary rules state, please direct your comments to the city council as a whole rather than to any individual. Please do not use expletives or make derogatory or disparaging comments about any individual or group. If you do, there may be immediate consequences, including being muted or having your comments omitted from any rebroadcast of the meeting. Please abide by these rules in order to minimize the possibility of disrupting the meeting. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, a free speech watchdog organization, said Troy's rules have constitutional issues. Bans on derogatory or disparaging comments violates the First Amendment because they discriminate based on viewpoint, allowing praise but not criticism, said the senior program counsel with the organization. As for Troy's requirement that comments be directed to the council as a whole rather than to any individual, a similar policy was invalidated by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit in Eisen versus Madison Local School District Board of Education, which banned antagonistic, abusive, and personally directed comments at public meetings. The city of Troy did not respond to an email seeking comment. I bring this up because clearly what is on the back of this and your comments should be revisited by our illustrious city attorney. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alright, moving on, city manager report.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, come on.
I apologize.
That's okay.
My mom recently received a blight letter, from her address over on Pleasant Street. She asked me to speak a little bit on her behalf because her anxiety is not doing the greatest.
Can I just get you to state your name?
I apologize, Whitney Strickland,
Okay, thank you.
on behalf of Cheyenne House and Thomas Galley.
Thank you.
We do understand that the front yard did get a little out of hand from this. We were in the process of trying to help deal with the estate sale next door when Ada Smith had passed away, so that her daughter and grandchildren did not have to. So we did have things in the front yard for a little bit, just on the free site, trying to get things cleaned up and trying to make sure that we can make it a little easier on the family. So I do apologize that things did get a little out of hand, but it is cleaned up now. Everything is back in order as far as the little ones' toys go. Those are my daughter. She resides with my parents. We're just in the process of getting them all power washed because they got a little dirty and the 4-year-old don't like dirt. But we are doing everything we can to make sure everything is put back in order. So I do apologize for any concerns that it may have caused. but that was definitely not our intentions. The goal was just to make it so that Ada's family didn't have to deal with everything on top of what they were already dealing with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, city manager's report, Mrs. Kirstenberg.
Thank you, Mary Gillis. We are still waiting for, an update regarding the MISTA application for the Algonac Elementary housing update. Today's manager report is gonna focus on the Algonac Activity Center. Superior Heating and Cooling will be back this first week of August to finish the controls for the HVAC system. The plumbing has been completed. The electrical contractor and National Time is working on the fire alarm. The general contractor is working on completing the additional work that was approved, the temporary doors, the painting to remove the graffiti, removing the paint from the gym floor. They continue to install the ceiling tiles. The painting has been completed in the media center. The piece-to-piece quilters electrical contractor is scheduled for next week to install the new lighting fixtures. Once the lights are replaced, the ceiling tiles will be installed and the new flooring will be installed. The access control security system is partially completed. We're awaiting more ceiling tiles. Some cameras have been installed which are now active. The contractor is hopeful that the work will be completed in August. The roof still needs to be repaired, however, the temporary fixes have been holding up for now. So we are hoping within the next 1 month that piece-to-piece quilters will be able to move in.
Or 30 or 31 days.
You know, really?
Anybody have any questions for Mrs. Christopher?
Actually, I got a couple things, which I've already talked to you, my pal. Can, you sit down with the sheriff and probably try to figure out, it doesn't happen often, but when there's issues at the bridge, and we have an event here, and it gets kinda crazy with people trying to get the line that is there for the ferry, because that's the only way they can go. Which is, that happened what, last week, I believe it was, last week. Kinda like what we had for the art fair, when there was issues at the bridge. I don't know if there's something to get some kind of plan in place, or hopefully never happens again, but should it happen again, could we please?
Mrs. Kirstenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Mayor Pro Tem Davey, of course, we can talk to the sheriff about those incidents. I do believe that, Councilwoman Harris has recently talked to the sheriff specifically about any type of incident that may occur that could interfere with the art fair. So she's already taken care of that for that upcoming event, but for things that happen unexpectedly, like on a daily basis or weekly basis, we can just ask them about what the plan could be.
Yeah, it was, cause it happened during the art fair last year, and then it just happened, I had popped into the, flea market, and people get a little loud.
They're not happy.
It wasn't pretty.
No, but we have the sheriff, it is part of the stipulation of the permit that I was issued for the art fair, that the sheriff will have extra
Cool.
around here.
There was a, porta-john at the other end of the boardwalk over by the senior. And I guess it isn't there anymore, cause I thought we had one at one end.
Yeah, it was right behind the arborvitae's.
And there is, that, somebody brought that up to me again when I was up here on Friday.
Yes, there used to be one over there. I believe we moved the 2 of them over by the boat ramp. But you're saying that somebody would like that one back?
They were
Is that what
wondering why it wasn't there anymore, cause I remember when Paul
It was Paul
was
Mullen
here,
that requested it at one time.
right, so, I was just, people were asking me about it, some of the vendors that were there,
Oh, for the farmer's market?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Mr. Scruggs, stay here for a minute.
I'm gonna ask, Mrs. Christenberg, do we have anything under the ordinance right now for regarding golf carts? Like, is there some stipulations right now regarding golf carts and any kind of, ATV vehicles driving in town, or?
Absolutely, we have the golf court ordinance as well as for ATVs, yes.
Okay,
We've had
can
that
you
for
get that
quite
out
some time,
to us,
2
so
years.
we have it?
It's posted every once in a while on
Is it
the
on your website?
Facebook, it's on the website, and
Okay.
it's been on the, it's every couple months, it's on the, back of the water bills.
And then it does, there is stipulation on hold there
Yes.
to ride in town, good, cause
Yep.
I've seen some pretty young kids riding those golf carts.
Yes, that's all
My
under the
concern
rules.
is they're gonna get hurt.
Absolutely, absolutely, we always advise anyone, if you see something like that, to call the sheriff.
Thank you.
I thought it was weird that, Mr. Scruggs had mentioned the, Airbnbs, because, I sent to everybody in the city manager today, cause I've had a few people get in touch with me about that. That, us looking at some type of ordinance to, and I sent everybody just as an example, it's something to consider, the ordinance that they have in, Grosse Pointe Farms, to look at, to get an idea of something that we can possibly.
Connersville's getting ready to adopt an Airbnb ordinance so that it can be more easily controlled as
So
well.
what I'm hearing, just, cause I wanna go touch a truck. What I'm hearing is you're asking the city
Yeah, you're
manager
creeping me out right
to
now.
look into ordinances.
Yes.
Okay.
So, we do have a rental ordinance that we've had in place for quite some time, but the Airbnbs are getting more and more and more. So we're looking to, implement some much stricter policies and penalties for not registering. And we've been working on that for the past couple of months, so that's funny that he's brought that
Oh,
up,
I know.
and you brought that up. In fact, in your manager's report on Thursday, you will have a draft of that.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah, he mentioned that, and I'm like,
You know, I don't know if this is the right time, but we as a council have to be careful of the emails we're sending back and forth to everyone. I would ask that if you guys are gonna start sending emails to everybody, that you check with Mr. Downey first, because that could be, considered a violation depending on who responds and how responses are to those emails, so I would suggest everybody, before you start sending
Lisa,
like
are we
by
allowed
council
to?
emails, that you check with Jim Downey.
I believe it's okay as long as you don't respond. Like if you send an email
How
and
do
you
we
see
know
that,
who's responding and who's not
well, as long as it's
responding?
not responded in a group, like 3 people respond, we apply all. But if somebody
I'm
responds to
more-
me,
I'm more comfortable if it's brought up to everybody rather than emails, it's just.
I sent
pushing
that
it
one.
close.
How would you
I
like it
sent
to be
that
brought
one with
up?
the link, just so
Pardon
we
me?
didn't have to bring a bunch of
Okay.
paper.
So be it.
No worries, no worries.
Anything else for Mrs. Gerstenberg?
On that note, I guess I'd like to bring up the email that I sent on July 30th regarding, back on June 17th, I asked for the city manager's evaluation to be removed from the agenda at the time that we didn't have anything on a guideline. The email went out regarding a draft of an evaluation form. I'm not really sure the steps or process to go through to have the members review it, either, critique it, remove it, scrap it, change it, or where are we at, like, the process? How do we do a process?
I think you would schedule, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, you would schedule or ask council to schedule a, interview or with the city manager.
Well, I really
An
don't think it's.
an evaluation, but then we'd have to come with our own questions and ask, we can't get together and do the questions together, that's, again, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would ask Downey that. I think it's better if we came up with our own questions and talked to her and had her eval.
Well, in the contract, it does state that council will produce a form along with the city manager. So there is no form produced, now we have a.
But that's, sorry,
Yeah.
catch up.
So I'm just trying to figure out the best practice as far as an evaluation form. I mean, will I put it on an agenda item to discuss the form presented? Okay,
Do you want the form presented first before we set up a meeting for the
Well, as long as
evaluation?
we agree, I mean, we have to have some kind of a guideline going into this. I mean, I know that there was one that was presented in,
I'm sorry.
I'm not allowed to ask you.
No,
I mean,
you're not
I mean,
out of line.
let me know to make sure.
Mrs.
This is a
Gerstenberg, do
new-
you have a?
Well, I think that you have prepared a form,
Correct.
right? And you sent that out to all the council people asking for comments. And so if anyone has any comments about that particular form, they can email you back individually, not as a group
Correct.
text. And
Correct.
any of their comments can be incorporated by you into the proposed form.
And if I don't receive any comments from any of the members, would that be safe to say we move forward with the
Yes,
form?
yes, then you would
Would
be safe
you-
to say that.
I mean, you were also on the email, did you review it? Is it something, I mean, this is, again, when we're at that June 17th meeting, when I asked for it to be removed, my understanding, there wasn't a form. But there is a form that was used in 2021. But it was after I produced something again.
There was a form that was distributed, but it was not used.
So in according to the annual reviews, it's something that should happen every year. And council, if I'm not mistaken, is it something that we need to adopt? That it happens every year?
No, it's not something
Okay.
that you need to
Okay.
adopt. There's nothing to be adopted.
So the form can change every year?
It
So
can.
Okay,
If some council person wants to take that upon themselves to make a particular form, yes.
It can change in the meeting.
Right, it can
depending
change in
on
the
how
okay,
the eval's going.
but the evaluation is in a closed meeting?
Correct.
Correct.
Are you asking for a date for an evaluation, Wendy, or how do you?
I think you need to figure out what form you're going to use.
Yeah, that's
first.
where I'm at, it's like, did anyone, I mean, I sent it out, I did, I think Lisa did respond and let me know what was considered open or closed requirements. I did send it to you, Rocky, on July 30th, I did send you a few questions today, I didn't get no response, so I'm here to, what would council like us to do? I mean, do we move forward, do we not move forward?
I apologize for not responding today, but, my feeling would be, if we were talking about the second meeting in September,
No.
Well, I think, again, one of the questions I had asked was a date, like an anniversary date. I think I figured that out, you know, with the guidance that I'm pretty sure on the date. Again, not sure what to say, what not to say, that should be closed and not closed, so. Let's just go with, you guys got the email. If you're okay with the form, we'll move forward. If you're not, then give another suggestion. I'm open for that.
I say move forward with the form, and when we're in the meeting, it might change, those questions might get asked, they might not get asked, and,
Correct.
you know, at least it's something everyone
I like
has
it.
an idea, and then we can add our own in the meeting or before the meeting, and let the meeting roll.
and if anybody has any different suggestions, email them to Wendy and then.
We can throw them on there. It's just, again, like I said, this is just a guideline, something.
But I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna change throughout the even, through the.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's two things here that I'm looking at, cause open meetings act violation it's not just cause 7 people responded, because there have been violations at other cities where 3 people responded one day, 3 the next, 1 the next, and it's still covered, so you have to be a little bit careful. I think that since we're all council people, and we were voted in come up with your own questions at the meeting and ask them. I eval the city manager once a week. How? I walk in her office and I say, what's going on with this, that, the other thing? And then I tell her, I agree with you on that, I disagree with you on that, I'd like to move in that direction that way. We can do it formally and I respect that. But let's come up with your own questions. Let's go to a meeting, let's ask her. I cannot do the 2 meetings in September because I won't be here, and I would hate not to be a part of that. So if council doesn't mind making it August 19th or October 7th.
Either works for us.
I like August 19th.
Okay.
Does anyone
So
else
can we
not
put that on
like
the agenda
date?
for a closed meeting on August 19th? Do we need to vote on that?
do we need to vote on that? Okay, August 19th is.
August 19th is
great.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else for Mrs. Gerstenberg? Except for house, how soon can we get to touch truck yet? All right, we're moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the regular city council meeting from July 15th, 2024. And under miscellaneous business, we have the fire department SCBA annual flow testing for $1,045. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to item 11A, to approve a nuisance abatement resolution 2025-09 for 727 Pleasant Street. The attorney has requested that the city council declare this property a nuisance per city section 34-18 so that enforcement can be initiated in the St. Clair County Court. The code officer does inspect the property the day of the council meeting. The city manager can provide an update at the meeting. The property owner has 21 days to abate these violations before the city attorney files in circuit court. If the property owner fails to comply, a city contractor may complete the work on behalf of the property owner, and the cost of abatement will become a lien on the property. We have a resolution for city council approval. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-09 and declare 727 Pleasant Street a nuisance within the bounds of code section 3418 and permit the city attorney to pursue abatement remedies in the St. Clair County Circuit Court.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I can't remember how many days we've done before, 30, 60, to give them time to.
Well, it's automatically 21.
Okay, do we need, I know we bumped that out a couple times. Just count for it.
I would like to extend it 21 days as well.
But, well, actually, we need an update from it. Mrs. Birchford, do you have an update?
Yes, Mayor Gillis, I do. So I'm assuming that you guys are with 727 Pleasant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the code officer was out there today and said that they have made significant efforts to clean up the property. And so that, they need to continue. There's still some additional stuff that needs to be done.
It's a garden being
And
done and stuff,
so-
and fencing that's going around it is what he's seeing right now.
Yeah,
It's-
so
it's
she said they
going
did a great job and they just need to continue the cleanup. And so by approval of this resolution, they have additional 3 weeks in order to clean up.
Additional
Okay, now,
to.
can somebody explain to me exactly what they're wanting done?
Yes, yes, they,
After the meeting or something,
Okay.
we can.
so they still have an additional 3 weeks.
Okay, excellent.
All right, any other discussion? No, we're good?
Good.
All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bempis,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarbeck.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have to approve a nuisance resolution 2025-10 for 382 Center Street.
You're wrong.
I know, I apologize, I forgot to.
72.
The city attorney has requested that the city council declare this process nuisance per section 3418 so that enforcement can be initiated in St. Clair County Court. The code official inspects the property the day of the city council meeting. The city manager can provide an update at the meeting. The property owner has 21 days to abate these violations before the city attorney files in circuit court. If the property owner fails to comply, a city contractor may complete the work on behalf of the property owner, and the cost of abatement will come a lien on the property. We have a resolution for council approval. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-10 and declare 382 Center Street a nuisance within the bounds of code section 34-18 and permit the city attorney to pursue abatement remedies in St. Clair County Circuit Court.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Is there updated pictures? I only see 2022.
Oh, there's,
Is there some from recently?
discussions with the property owner recently.
This has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah.
We have worked with various family members, there have been numerous people that have talked with them, and they have not responded at all to this letter, and they have not cleaned up anything.
Thank you.
As of today, was there any update?
No,
Okay, any other discussion? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next up, we're being asked to adopt resolution number 2025-11 to honor Milford Jackson and to designate the Milford Jackson Testimony Trust income. The city council has discussed the desire to earmark the income received from the Milford Jackson Testimony Trust to specific items or projects that would enhance the lives of residents in the community and not just deposited in the general fund. The city receives approximately $25,000 per year. Enhancements include the blue lights in the riverfront and the replacement of the evergreen tree at City Hall to use as Christmas tree during the holidays. Picnic tables in the riverfront park, maintenance, care, and improvement of the veteran monument, and upkeep of flags at the monument and the city buildings. The attached resolution, 2025-11, will honor Mr. Jackson's generous bequest is designated for items that benefit the community and determined by the governing body of the city for years to come. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-11 to honor Milford Jackson and to designate Milford Jackson Testamentary Trust income to be used for items or projects that enrich the community and preserve the veterans' memorials.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? I'm gonna read the proclamation. A resolution to honor Milford Jackson and designate the Milford Jackson Testimony Trust income to enhance the community and preserve the Veterans Memorial. Whereas in 1991, Algonac resident Milford Jackson established the Milford Jackson Testimony Trust Fund for the benefit of the city, which upon his death would pay the Algonac an annual income. And whereas the city of Algonac acknowledges and honors the generous bequest of the late Milford Jackson. And whereas Milford Jackson was a proud veteran, having served in the United States military and an active member of VFW Post 3901, who demonstrated through his service and generosity a deep commitment of the community and to the honoring of those who served. And whereas the City Council of Algonac is committed to designating foreign funds towards projects that enhance lives of the residents, as well as preserving them in the memory of the sacrifices of veterans. Whereas one such project being the proper upkeep of the Veterans Monument located in Riverfront Park and the display and maintenance of American flags on all city-owned property. And now therefore it resolved by the City Council of Algonac that the annual income received from the Milford Jackson Trust Fund shall be earmarked specifically for projects that benefit the community and enhance the lives of the residents, as well as for the preservation of the Veterans Memorial and flag maintenance. And before there be it further resolved that this act of stewardess shall serve as an ongoing tribute to Milford Jackson's legacy and also serve in the defense of our nation. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 11D is to approve special event permit for Woodside Bible Church for family movie night on August 23rd, 2025. We have a special event permit for August 23rd, 2025 for a movie at 7 p.m. This family-friendly event for this community will be free, presented by Woodside. The permit application has been received and approved by the administration. The safety and security plan is pending approval by the St. Clair County Sheriff. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve special events permit from Woodside Bible Church for family movie night on the river on Saturday, August 23rd, 2025 at Riverfront Park, pending St. Clair County Sheriff approval.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Yay.
That is my birthday, so
What movie
don't know yet.
So you're bringing a cake?
Yeah, we're gonna grab it.
Sweet.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're gonna have a movie night. Next up is accounts payable.
Make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $327,438.03.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris. Yes. Councilwoman Mildred,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Items for next agenda, Mrs. Gerstenberg.
We will have the special event permit for the Algonac Homecoming Parade and the purchase of, box covers for the electrical boxes at Riverfront Park.
That sounds exciting and exhilarating.
I do have something, and wondering if we could add to, the agenda for the next meeting. To discuss, looking into accounting and finance services, basically to support Alicia. I love Alicia, and she is wonderful at her job. I mean, McBride and Manley has, in our audit, stated that there needs to be some tightening of internal controls. So I'm wondering if we could add this to an next agenda and discuss, bringing in a couple firms to give presentations on.
Okay, so agenda items are action items. So you'd have to be going out to bid for a particular service and awarding a contract. So what would you be awarding a contract for? What are you looking for? We are going to be going out for auditor services again. As Alicia, we need to talk to the city treasurer as to if she thinks there's something that she needs. But what would you even be interviewing for? What kind of firms would you be looking for?
Accounting and finance services, just, and not something that, would be, where we are putting this firm on a retainer and keeping it on all the time. And, regardless of, looking for a new auditing firm, that still doesn't address the issue because, having our auditors do some of the work that would be done by an accounting firm isn't, something so much that they should be doing.
Are you looking for a temporary accounting firm to come in and give her?
Just give, to give some support.
Did you talk to Alicia about this?
Well, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
If I may, Alicia works for the city manager, it's for the city manager to decide if Alicia needs assistance of any kind. It's our job to tell the city manager if she's doing a good enough job with her employees. So that issue is really not a council issue at this time. The issue would be city manager, we either have or do not have a problem with how you run your employees, because that's the manager's employee, it's her responsibility to come to us and say, I need more assistance with that, or I'm gonna handle this, and it's not about Alicia, it could be
No,
about
it's not,
any
right,
employee.
and I wanna make sure
that
we
she has.
understand this is not about.
So we're
Alicia.
kind of stepping out of our purview on the issue.
I agree, I think it's
I agree.
unprofessional.
If we have anything that's, if you think that's concerned, can we get the concerns to the administration?
Yeah.
Sure.
So that
That way,
should go to the
that way
city
we know,
manager.
that way all of us kind of.
The only concern that I have when you talk about that is I don't think that our auditors should be the same one who's on my accountant. They should be two separate entities. You shouldn't have one company who actually can do reconciliation or general ledger updates, also be the one to audit that. There should be two separate firms.
And my only thing here is that, our responsibility. You know, I understand that, you know, staff, that's Denise's, area, but it is also our responsibility to make sure that things are going well. If there's, you know, and I don't know, I don't.
Wouldn't that be what an audit's for?
But
Making sure things
that's,
are going well?
but that's different than what this is, because we have an auditing firm, but we're talking about, and you said it better than I did.
Well, the thing is, we do have an auditing firm.
Yes.
That same auditing firm also is accountants too. They can come in, correct me if I'm wrong, and they look at our accounting books, accounting statements, they, month end, journal entries, or, it's just, I don't think it's a conflict of interest to have one be the same.
And they generally, a few times will state that.
And the
in
deficiency,
audit.
so if you've got your
Yes.
audit, if you look at the audit that they presented to us back in December, there's a deficiency letter that states the controls, the internal controls. And they recommend, you know, there should be separations of those internal controls. So, they're auditing what they're doing. I mean, to get more of a clear picture, talk with McBride.
And two, like I said, I love Alicia, she's doing an awesome job.
This is not a
Yeah,
person.
no, she's doing an awesome job.
If I may, we are way off to where we can. I will tell you as a postmaster of Algonac, if my boss or anybody wants to talk to my employee, they go through me. I will not let my boss talk to my supervisors and tell them what they are doing, good or bad. I tell them. It's the same with Denise. She can have that conversation with what she feels like with her employee. We know 5 minutes of stuff or nonsense that we see on Facebook. She works with the person every day. We can go to her office where we can tell her eval, we don't like the way she handles her employees. But it's not for us to talk about in this forum. It is unprofessional, it is incorrect. I would not tolerate it at any post office in the 41 years I've been in management for anybody to talk about and broach the subject that we're broaching now. No way, no way.
I think I'm gonna move this along to council comments. Because we're obviously not gonna add this to the next agenda. And if a member from council wants to bring it up during their comments, they can.
Thank you.
So, Councilman Bembas?
I'm gonna keep it short and simple, cause I wanna go touch a truck. Is a helicopter out there, Joe? I wanna go see a helicopter. Come on, people, let's do it. We got next week, we can talk.
Did you hear it fly in?
That's all I got.
Councilman Carter?
I wanna touch a truck too. This Saturday night, at 5 o'clock at Clay Township Park, Woodside's having their annual backpack giveaway. There's 250 backpacks for kids in the city and the school district, free backpacks. There's gonna be like fire trucks, police cars, lots of cool stuff to look at there too, so. And entertainment as well, snacks and hot dogs, so come on out and get your backpack and just have a good time.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We all know I like it when there's bodies and cheer. I don't have much. I just wanna make it really, really clear. To have, any mention of Facebook come into this, I don't quite understand. And this is not in any way, shape, or form, any kind of commentary on Alicia's job performance. Alicia does a wonderful job, but it is our fiduciary responsibility. We are sitting up here. So if, there's another way to do this, if I didn't do this correctly, that's one thing.
It's okay.
But,
We just have a different opinion, that's okay.
right, but, again, we have a responsibility to make sure, we are giving it that, not that we are giving, but we are allowing, city staff to get all the support that they need. Cause that's why we're sitting up here, and that's all I can say about that. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Councilwoman Harris?
I'm gonna pass tonight, thank you.
You gotta
Councilwoman
go touch
Melton?
your truck?
No comment.
Councilman Scarbeck?
Thank you guys for coming, that's it.
I'm just gonna touch on, if there's a deficiency, please let us know.
Of course.
And that's all my comments. I want to just go to touch a truck. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I know,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
so we.
All in favor?
Alright.